The brain literally feeds on glucose. But for migraineurs, sugar becomes the enemy that triggers the very headaches they're desperately trying to avoid. Sugar is the hidden trigger behind most migraines, and avoiding it completely can prevent up to 90% of migraine episodes, according to the groundbreaking research by Angela Stanton, Ph.D. The research by Stanton reveals that migraine brains process glucose differently, creating dangerous blood sugar swings that directly trigger attacks. During the prodrome phase, hours before the migraine hits, the brain starts craving carbohydrates. This isn't random hunger. It's the neurons desperately trying to stabilize before the storm. Most people give in and eat sugary foods, unknowingly fueling the very migraine they're about to experience. The brain, during a migraine, is essentially experiencing an energy crisis. When one consumes sugars and carbohydrates, the blood glucose spikes, then crashes, starving brain cells of consistent energy. This metabolic chaos is what triggers the cascade of events called a migraine. Obvious causes are table sugar, honey, and maple syrup, with less apparent ones being all grains, including rice, quinoa, and oats, which convert straight to sugar. Fruits, even the healthy ones, are glucose bombs. Root vegetables like potatoes, carrots, and beets spike the blood sugar fast. Legumes, including beans and lentils, break down into glucose too. The replacement sugars are even worse. Aspartame, sucralose, and stevia all trigger the same metabolic chaos in migraine brains. The body doesn't care if it's natural or artificial. It's still disrupting the glucose metabolism since they trick the brain into expecting sugar, causing insulin spikes without actual fuel. Even healthy options like honey, maple syrup, and agave create the same problematic glucose roller coaster. Most migraine sufferers are unknowingly feeding their condition 3 times a day. Once one understands that their brain processes these foods differently, prevention becomes possible. But here's the game-changer part. You need to learn your prodrome symptoms because they start 24 to 48 hours before the actual headache hits. Watch for subtle mood changes, food cravings, neck stiffness, frequent urination, or energy. Fluctuations such as unusual fatigue. These aren't random symptoms. They're early warning systems that happen because the brain cells are already struggling with energy metabolism before pain begins. When one identifies their prodromes early and they've already eliminated the sugar triggers, one can prevent the migraine from developing. Please note, the list of prodromes can vary between migraineurs, with this being a starting point. For the full list of currently known prodromes, I suggest reading Stanton's book, Fighting the Migraine Epidemic, a complete guide how to treat and prevent migraines without medications. When one spots signs of prodromes beginning to occur, they can intervene immediately by increasing salt and water intake while maintaining strict sugar avoidance. The brain needs sodium and proper hydration to maintain its electrical balance, and the protocol, by Angela Stanton, Ph.D., works because it addresses the root metabolic cause instead of just masking symptoms with medications. The prevention protocol requires eliminating all forms of sugar and simple carbohydrates for several weeks. This includes obvious sources like candy and soda, plus hidden ones like sauces, dressings, and processed foods containing corn syrup, dextrose, or maltodextrin. Even complex carbs, like whole grains, need temporary removal to reset the brain's glucose sensitivity. Within weeks of eliminating all forms of sugar and carbohydrates while learning to recognize the personal prodrome patterns, most people experience a dramatic reduction in migraine frequency and intensity. The brain finally gets the stable fuel it desperately needs. The most effective approach is switching to a ketogenic diet where the brain runs on ketones instead of glucose, providing steady, reliable energy. This eliminates the blood sugar roller coaster entirely since the migraine brain needs stable fuel, not sugar spikes. Please note, according to the book by Angela A Stanton, Ph.D., Fighting the Migraine Epidemic, a complete guide, how to treat and prevent migraines without medications. On page 369, the ketogenic diet is a therapeutic and medical nutrition plan that has been used, recorded in literature, since 500 BC to prevent or treat some brain disorders, mainly seizures in the ancient times. The ketogenic diet is not a calorie-restricted diet. It is a carbohydrate-restricted diet only. One super benefit is that a fat-burning body doesn't use glucose as fuel for most of the body, so it doesn't use much insulin for glucose transport. This helps migraineurs who are glucose sensitive to recover their insulin sensitivity and return their body to its homeostasis. By recognizing prodrome signals and avoiding glucose triggers, they're not just preventing a headache. They're retraining their neurons to function without the dangerous energy swings that create chronic migraine patterns. The temporary dietary restriction becomes permanent freedom from debilitating pain.